All right, let's talk about Edgerrin Cooper, the new linebacker for the Green Bay Packers, who I think could be a really good player. I actually had a first-round grade on him, barely. I think he was like prospect 31, but still, first-round grade on him. He goes middle of the second round, which is when he was projected to go. But I think he could be a really good player for them. There's a lot he did really well at the college level, something like what you see on the screen. You see where he is on the field. You see the blocking concept. This is going to be a running play. When the Alabama quarterback takes the snap and goes to hand off, you see that the Alabama offensive lineman who's trying to block Cooper is in an okay position to do it. Here is the dilemma for Cooper. You could just run straight into the offensive lineman, which seems like a bad idea, but the reason why you would do it is you've essentially prevented the running back from being able to go through that gap right there. Or you could take a chance. You could try to run around, find a different gap, almost view yourself like a running back, finding a gap to get through. But of course, you could be leaving another window open. Cooper takes the chance. You see him get over. He's running through a gap and has a chance to make this work now, right? The running back notices this, so he's going to try and go through the gap that Cooper was initially going to be in. But watch what Cooper does. Watch him be able to be so quick. He gets over there. He makes the tackle. You would certainly see this a lot, of him taking chances and usually getting away with it, being quick enough to make plays. The concern is, how well will it work at the NFL level? Will you be able to consistently do this stuff? We did see someone like Patrick Queen who kind of did a lot of this stuff, and then once he got to the NFL level, couldn't get away with it all and had to make an adjustment. And then did, and was really good for Baltimore. But I wouldn't be shocked at all to see something like that happen with Cooper. But also what I like about him is just stuff like this, where it's going to be, you see where he is on the screen, and I'm not going to break down the whole play, because, quite a bit of moving parts that, quite frankly, don't really matter that much. I mean, they matter in terms of the play, but in terms of Cooper's role, just watch what happens. You see that when this play begins, so, due to other stuff, Cooper has kind of gotten unblocked right here, has a chance to make a tackle, and for the Alabama running back, it's kind of just this one-on-one situation. What's going to happen? Well, watch Cooper really just stand him up. The running back tried to run right by him. Did not work. There was some help as well, but still, you definitely see him be able to play physical. He can make these tackles. He can do the simple stuff. And that's not just in run defense. Like going over to something like this, it's going to be zone coverage. You see the zone he's supposed to be covering. That's the one in white. That is Cooper's area of the field he's supposed to cover. But again, your goal isn't just to cover an area. Your goal is to cover the receivers who are in that area, right? So you got to kind of know how to clog up passing lanes. When this play begins, you see that, right here, the receiver is kind of trying to get by Cooper. And for Cooper, I think he's reading this play pretty well. He's watching the quarterback the way you would want. But you see him drop back. He does kind of get into the passing lane. He does take that lane away. Again, nothing otherworldly, but does a solid job at this. I think it could be better. I think there is some room for improvement on these plays as well, but I think he does an okay job at it. So again, a guy who can make the tackles when they're necessary, can, cover the guys that are in his area of the field. There's a lot of value in that, especially when you add on the kind of the explosiveness. Something like this, where you see where he is on the field on this one. So, okay, that's what's happening for Alabama. But again, what's interesting about this one is he's unblocked at the line. So, great situation for Cooper. No denying that. However, watch him really, when this play begins, he gets there so quickly, clobbers the quarterback, actually knocks the football loose as well. Really good stuff there by Cooper. So again, was this a good situation? Yeah, it was. But at the same time, what do you want from a player? When they have good opportunities, you want them to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. You don't, sure, there was a break here, but you know what happens throughout the course of an NFL game is you get opportunities, you get breaks, and the best players are the ones who take advantage of those opportunities, which we certainly saw Cooper do in college. Now, as for negatives, I do think there are some, not a lot, but something like this, it's going to be a blocking concept towards the left side of the screen. You see where he is. This is definitely something that is going to be a bit of an adjustment, and I think this is probably why he was a second-round pick, is because of this. So when his play begins, he does a good job of reading the play, right? He sees the running back is going to go towards the top of the screen, which is very good. However, when it does go in that direction, he overcommits and it results in him, blowing the tackle, which allows for a good, rush. He's very good at once he gets in position to make the tackle, but there are times that he overcommits. And while I would still say you take the good with the bad, because there's more times he's able to get over and make a play, you definitely are going to have to live with this. It's a bit reminiscent of maybe, someone like Quan Alexander, in that you get the positives, but you're also going to get some negatives that come along with it. So yeah, that's definitely something you see on film. I also want to talk about the scheme fit for a second. So it's interesting. So, you have the new defensive coordinator. We're in a post Joe Barry era. I don't watch a ton of college football, so Jeff Hafley, who came from college, although he's been in the NFL in the past, but most recently was a coordinator for Ohio State and then became the head coach of Boston College for a few years, is now coming over to the Packers. I don't know exactly what his mindset is going to be here. I don't know if he's going to run a lot of the same stuff the Packers did last year, or maybe try to make some adjustments, or just completely overhaul it. I really don't know. And again, even if I studied a lot of Boston College film, I don't think you could fully know exactly what's going to do, because what is he going to change, moving over to this, right? I just don't know. But at the same time, for this situation, I think it's just interesting of what the Packers did a lot last year is have their linebackers do different things. And I think you saw Clay Walker sometimes really have success there and also sometimes struggle. I think it had his inconsistencies, but I think you would take the good with the bad, I think. Because he would make some splash plays. You're now having Cooper, who is kind of a similar type guy, right? Someone who you're going to get some good, you're also going to have to take the good with the bad. And if you're asking a lot of these linebackers to do a lot of different things, which is probably the right mindset, given how athletic these two guys are, there's some questions there, right? Of could you end up dealing with a lot of plays going against you, because, sometimes it helps to have the kind of one freak athlete next to a veteran player who's also a really good athlete in Campbell, who, obviously left in free agency. Sometimes there's some questions there as to how well can these two guys, how well can these two guys play without a veteran in the lineup, and maybe, they do have veterans on the roster. Eric Wilson's there. Maybe the goal is to have him out there on some snaps to kind of settle things down. But again, what are you getting out of Eric Wilson, right? That's kind of the question. So for me personally, I like this move. I think it's a strong move. It's a position of need. He's an underrated player. It's hard to have too many critiques against this move. The only other real criticism I think you could throw at this is should you draft a linebacker in general? I'll use Patrick Queen as an example, because I think you could make some comparisons between the two players. Patrick Queen ended up being a really good player for the Baltimore Ravens. He didn't start off that way. It took him probably till year 3 to be good, and then had his best year, year 4, and has now, or was it maybe it was year 5, but eventually, leaves the Baltimore Ravens and joins the Pittsburgh Steelers, so a division rival. The concern is that sometimes when you draft a linebacker, it's take a few years for them to get good. They finally play at their best football right when they're about to become a free agent, and either you have to pay them or someone else is paying them, and you don't get any value back for them. That's the dilemma, but I don't know. You want to be competitive now. Linebackers still are valuable, even if people have debates as to how valuable they are, stuff like that. I'm a fan of this move. I am. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Edgerrin Cooper to the Green Bay Packers? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.